Good morning, guys. So we are now in the process of writing a research title. First, we will define what is a research title. A research title is also known as a research paper's title or study title. It is concise and descriptive phrase and provides an overview of the main focus and scope of a research project or an academic paper. Here, I've listed down some key elements to consider when we are crafting a research title. So we have clarity, specificity, conciseness, relevance, engaging, keywords, and tone. So what is clarity? In clarity, in making a title, you should be straightforward and it must easy to understand. Avoid using jargon or overly technical words or language. Specificity, it should convey the precise topic. It should be specific or the subject of the research to prevent so that it will prevent ambiguity or di na malibog ang inyuhang audience. Dapat specific, precise topic or precise subject of research. Conciseness, we should keep our title short. Dili kay taas kaayo og title. We should write title or our research paper to express, not to impress others by writing very long, broad title. So it should be relatively short. So we only write standard. The title should be typically within 10 to 15 words to maintain readability. Okay? So please be guided. Our title must have 10 to 15 words only. Relevance. We should ensure that our title reflects the content and objectives of the research, but not to the point nga imuha nang title pa lang daan, imuha nang explain ang imuhang tibuok research paper. Okay? So it should reflect the content and objectives of the research. Next, it must be engaging. So we should use words that captures our readers' interest and curiosity. Murag sa pagkaon pa, imuha na siyang gitagaan og appetizer sa imuhang title pa lang. Of course, we should, in every literature or anything that we read, kinahanglan maka-entice or kinahanglan makatch imo attention. Kay kung title pa lang daan, boring na imong title, what's the guarantee nga basahon ang imuhang paper kung wala na sa title pa lang, wala na nimo na capture ang interest sa imuhang readers. Okay? Next, keywords. So we should incorporate relevant keywords that will help our readers find our research in databases or search engines. So, murag mga hashtag words, mga words nga keywords atong ibutang. And the last one is tone. So what is tone? So we will consider appropriate tone for our audience in the field of study. Sa ato kay science investigatory project man ni, should be academic, formal, or creative titles may be suitable depending on the context of our study. Here in this slide, I've provided you steps on how to write a research title. It is based from the following writers: Ledy, Ormrod 2019, Newman 2013, and APA 2020. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps on how to write our research title. First, we will identify the research topic and scope. Second, consider your audience. Third, highlight the key variables or concepts. Fourth, use descriptive language. Fifth, be concise and to the point. Sixth, consider the research methodology. Seventh, avoid jargon and abbreviations. 8, seek feedback. 9, revise and refine. And the last one, 10, check for grammar and style. So let us discuss the first. Identify the research problem or question. So we will begin by defining the subject of our research and the specific aspects you intend to investigate. So your title should reflect the core theme of your study. Example, if your research question is, how does varying the concentration of a specific enzyme affect the rate of a chemical reaction? So your title should be what? What must be the title basing from our research question? Keywords: concentration of an enzyme. This enzyme affects the rate of chemical reaction. So your title could be the effect of enzyme concentration on chemical reaction rates. Okay, that is how we will make a title basing from our research problem or our research question. Next, to identify the independent and dependent variables. Example, in an experiment investigating the effect of light intensity on plant growth, a title might be the impact of light intensity on plant height. So what is our IV? Our IV is the plant height, while our DV is the rate of photosynthesis. Because we are investigating the effect of the intensity of light on the plant of growth man. So, diba, photosynthesis involves the process or using the light energy, the light intensity for the plant to make its own food. So, when the light intensity is great, of course, the plant will make much food, and in effect, it will grow fast. Okay? So, that is the example of using the independent and dependent variable in making a research title. Next, be concise and descriptive. Concise. Concise. Keep your title concise. Avoid unnecessary words or phrases. Anong mga kuyaw nga mga words or phrases nga dili na kinahanglan, dili na need sa title. Okay? Instead of a study of the influence of temperature on bacterial growth in different environments, taas kayo. A study of the influence of temperature on bacterial growth in different environments, you can opt for the temperature's impact on bacterial growth in varied environments. So, shorter specific, concise. Next, fourth one, avoid extraneous details. Avoid extraneous details. Mga extraneous details. Example, instead of an investigation to the effect of various soil types on the growth of tomato plants in a greenhouse environment, we can omit the details. So we can choose soil type effects on tomato growth in greenhouse conditions. Okay? Next, fifth. Highlight unique features or method. So this one, our focus is the method. The methods used in the study. Example, using microfluidics for precise drug delivery, an experimental study on targeted cancer treatment. This title emphasizes the innovative method employed in the experiment. So what is the innovative method employed in the experiment? We use the the microfluidics. So this is the innovative method. For what for? What is the use of the microfluidics? For the precise delivery of drugs in the body. Okay? And with the use of this innovative method, our focus is to treat cancer. So that is the example of using the features or methods in your title. Next, avoid jargon and uncommon abbreviation. Keep your title accessible in a broad audience by avoiding technical jargon and excessive abbreviation. So there are words, jargon words, that even though it is the same word, but it can be used by other fields, or the meaning of those words are different depending on the fields of study. So that's why we will avoid using those jargon words and uncommon abbreviation. So example, instead of PCR-based DNA analysis of microbial diversity in soil sample, o diba? Basa pa lang kadaan sa title, nalibog na ka. Unsa din ang PCR? What is the meaning of PCR? So PCR-based DNA analysis for microbial diversity in soil sample, we can use common. What is more common, PCR or PCR-based DNA? So we can use DNA since it is the most common. DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid analysis for soil microbial diversity using PCR. Next, 7. Seek feedback and review guidelines. Asa man ta manguha aning feedback? Sa imuhang research teacher, research advisor, experts. So you consult your teacher, advisor, and experts in what they think about the title that you've made. You seek feedback. You accept their comments and suggestions. Next, number 8, revise and proofread. Example, a revised title might transform from investigating the impact of pH on enzyme activity to pH enzyme activity relationship in an experimental study. 9, check for grammar and style. So our basis for that one is the guidelines given The guidelines given by the ISEF rules. International Science and Engineering Fair. Okay, so those are the steps on writing our science investigatory project research title. So the title that you will be making is not final. That is called a working title because from the feedback and review of your research teacher and research advisor, we can improve or modify the title. Okay? So that is how we will make the title. Next, we will proceed with background. Background of research. So what is a background? Saan man ang background? Kuan. Pag naay manguyab nimo, i-check nimo ang background niya. Okay, what is a background of research? It provides context and sets the stage for the study. It includes the discussion of the broader topic or field in which the research is situated. So this background of research will outline the historical, o di ba, historical and theoretical context, previous research on the subjects, gaps, unsa tong mga kulang, unsa tong wala pa nahimo, or the limitations in existing knowledge and the rationale for conducting the current study. This is very important because this is the foundation of your study. So kung wala kay igo nga basis sa imong study, huyang kayo mo study. No, ang research gap nimo dapat i-establish ni nimo ang imuhang background of study, ang imuhang your research about the previous researches on the subject, the gaps and limitations. So what is the essence of doing this background of research? It will answer the question, why? Nga mo ni ang pinaka-importante. Nganong mga importante man nga magbuhat ka ani nga research. Kung dili ni importante, di na lang ta magkapoy-kapoy. Di na lang ka mag-research. Okay? Background of research answers the question, why is this research important? And what had been done before? Unsay gibuhat tong in the past, in the previous studies, unsay lang gibuhat. Kay kung ang imuhang gusto i-research, naanay nakabuhat, dili na kinahanglan pang i-research, kinaa na may nakabuhat ana. So dapat maansira nimo first why your research is important and why we need to do another research today. Because this research is novel. Wala pa ni nabuhat. Or naay gibuhat tong niaging mga tuig, pero dili pa siya sapat. Kulang pa. So, maunang kinahanglan ko magbuhat ani nga research. Kasabot. Sige. So, let us proceed with writing the introduction of your research paper. First, you will start with a hook. Unsa nang hook? Kanang hook good kanang unsa nang hook? Taga. Ang taga baka namang mangubit kag isda. So kinahanglan nimo og hook para mukubit ang isda. O just like in doing our introduction. You need to have a hook or to grab the attention of your readers. We will begin our introduction with an engaging sentence or an anecdote that captures the reader's attention and interestingly introduces the topic. So this can be, example, a surprising fact, a relative quote, or a thought-provoking question. So, in STEM, imagine, this is an example. Imagine the world where diseases are diagnosed in seconds. O, diba? Ano sa pa ma-diagnose ang mga diseases karon? Pag stage 4 na. Pag late na kaayo, nagtinga na ang pasyente. So, imagine a world where diseases are diagnosed in second and life-saving treatments are tailored to your DNA. This vision is no longer confined to science fiction. It's becoming a reality through the advancement in personalized medicine. Okay, sa mga magdoktor, so mao niha ang example sa inyuhang hook statement. So, mura mo class og namaligya og product. So, kinahanglan nga ma-convince ninyo ang customer mo na inyong reader nga nindot kaayo inyong paper. So, sa start pa lang daan, ato na ang inyuhang introduction. Okay? So, let us proceed with the second. Manata sa hook, manata sa attention grabber. Let us proceed with the background information. So, after the hook, we will provide background information on the general topic or field of study. So, what is the purpose of this background information? It will help our readers and set the context for your specific research. Example of background information. Personalized medicine, also known as prescription medicine, is a revolutionary approach to health care that aims to customize medical treatments based on an individual's genetic makeup, lifestyle, and unique health characteristics. So that is an example of the background information. Next, we will state the research problem or the research question. So we will clearly articulate the specific research problem or the question that our study addresses. So, unsa tong i-address nato nga research problem? Unsa tong question nato? It should be concise and to the point. So, here in the example, our research problem is the research paper seeks to investigate the impact of genetic profiling on treatment outcomes in cancer patients, with a focus on identifying genetic markers that can predict treatment response and guide therapeutic decision. So, what is the research problem? To investigate the impact of genetic profiling. I-profile ang DNA to unsa man? I-profile ang DNA so that personalize or individualize ang treatment sa isa ka tao. Example, sa isa ka cancer patient. So, we have different biomarkers in our body. So, different cancers have different biomarkers. So, mao na siya ang goal sa ato ang research. I-investigate nato ang impact sa DNA profiling or genetic profiling. Next, ang ikaapat is we will justify the research. Mo na ni giingon, kinahanglan nato i-justify nganong man jud nga mag-research ka ani, nganong cancer man. Nganong man nga kinahanglan jud mo maghimo og kuan tambal sa buni. Sa fungi makamatay na inyong buni, makaunsa na siya. So kinahanglan i-justify ninyo ang inyuhang research. So kay cancer man ang ato ang research problem, so i-justify nato nganong man di ay kung magka-cancer, ay wala ra man ang cancer. So you will justify by using information from your research. So, cancer remains one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Kay kung dili kaayo importante ang inyuhang problem, nganong kinahanglan pa man ta mag-research ani? So, kay ang cancer man daw remain one of the leading causes of death worldwide. Therefore, there is really a need to study treatments of cancer. And traditional one-size-fits-all treatments often result in suboptimal outcomes. So, unsa man ang mga traditional one-size-fit-all treatments? Like, chemotherapy, di ba? Chemo, tanan. O, pag chemotherapy, dili man guarantee nga maayo ang patient, cancer patient sa chemotherapy. Kay pamatyon man tanan, dividing cells. Cancer cells ba na or normal cells? So, dili applicable ang one size fits all nga tanan cancer patients, isa lang jud ang ilahang treatment. So, dapat siya personalized. Depending on the kind of cancer o depende po sa lawas sa tao, sa patient. So, by delving into the potential of personalized medicine, this research aims to contribute to the development of more effective and tailored cancer therapies. So, that is the justification of your research. So, you will explain why your research is important and why it is relevant. You will discuss the significance of the problem or question you're addressing and any gaps or limitation in the current knowledge that your study seeks to address. Next is to outline the objectives or hypothesis. Why we need to outline? We will outline or we will briefly mention the specific objectives or hypothesis in our study, indicating what is the aim to achieve or to test. Example, the primary objectives of this study are to identify genetic biomarkers associated with treatment response in cancer patients and to assess the feasibility of integrating genetic profiling into clinical practice. So, in that statement, iyahan nang gi-outline, iyahan nang gi-express ang objectives sa iyahang research paper nga isa sa content sa atoang introduction. Next one is to provide a road map. Unsa na road map? Mapa sa road. Ano kinahanglan man tag map? Mapa. So that we will give the reader an overview of the paper structure by mentioning the main sections or key points that you will cover in subsequent parts of the paper. Or kinahanglan kag bird's eye view ba? Makita na nimo daan. Mabasa na nimo daan ang tumong sa imuhang research paper because in the introduction you will provide a roadmap. So what is the example for that? So in the following sections, we will review relevant literature on personalized medicine, describe the research methodology, present our findings, discuss their implication, and conclude with recommendations for the integration of genetic profiling into cancer treatment. Next, maintain clarity and conciseness. Keep the introduction concise and focused. Avoid unnecessary details or tangents. Make sure your language is clear and easy to understand. And lastly, revise and proofread. After writing the initial draft, revise the introduction to ensure its effectivity or ensure its effective or effectively communicates the purpose and relevance of the research. The purpose of our introduction is to communicate to our readers the purpose and relevance of our research. You check for grammar, spelling, and style errors. So that is the purpose of doing the proofread and revision, continuous revision, everyday revision. So here, I will be presenting to you the example of introduction using IMRAD-C for the physical science. Di na po siya ma-open. Balik na po ta diri para ma-open siya. Hold on, class. Wait a minute. I will find the file in my folders. IMRAD-C. So the template that we will be using is in Science Investigatory Project is IMRAD-C. So what is IMRAD-C? According to ICEF, it is I stands for introduction, M for materials and method, R results, and D discussion, conclusion. Diba? Simple ra kaayo. Very nipis ra kaayo atong himuon nga research paper. Kay pila ra man to? 5 ra ka buok. Introduction, materials and methods, results, discussion, conclusion. 5. So those are the things that we will write. Those 5 parts. Very easy ra kaayo, no? So before we start, an important point to keep in mind is that there is no standard or uniform style that is followed by all journals. Each journal has its own style, but they all have their own instructions to authors or other word combinations to mean the same thing. Sa research class, wala dyan specific nga format. Depende rin na sa inyong teacher, depende rin na sa inyong journal nga pasahan kung i-publish ninyo inyong paper, kung unsa ilahang gusto. So in that way, we will just follow or abide with the guidelines they set for that specific journal or for that specific teacher. So kung mao nay gusto ni teacher nga buhaton ninyo, hala, buhata kay mao man na iyang gusto. Okay? So what are the parts again? Introduction, materials and methods, results and discussion, conclusion. So mao na ang guidelines sa ICEF. So mao na ato ang i-follow. Mag-IMRAD-C ta. What are the parts? Introduction, what should be in the instruction? What are the things that you need to find in the introduction? So it will answer what was the question. Methods, how did the research try to answer it? Result, what did the researchers find? Discussion, what do the results mean? Ano say meaning sa result? Conclusion, what possible implications can be established? So those are the purpose of the 5 parts. Reminder, science fair is not a competition for the thickest research papers. Dili na siya maghimo kag research paper class, di na siya pabagaay. Pabagaay na siya now. Char lang. Bitaw, the research paper is not a competition of pinakabaga nga research paper. The research paper, especially if aiming kung mudaog ta, kung gusto jud mo mudaog, kay kamo may magbuhat ana, di man ako. If you are aiming for the National Science and Technology Fair, it is advised to be written in an IMRAD-C. So, ang ato adyong output ani, dapat ang format jud kay IMRAD-C. Dili mag-compare nga nganong lahi man ang format sa uban. Kay ako may teacher, ako'y magbuot. nag-follow ra pug ko sa guidelines sa ICEF. Mo nang IMRAD C ato ang gamiton. Why? Because the format is journal ready. Sa mga journals, pag i-publish siya, naka-IMRAD C na jud na. So, para madali ang buhay, ma-follow lang ka ng IMRAD C na to ang gamiton para ready na siya for submission. Unta, ma-publish ang journal. And the second one, concise and includes only the important details. Okay? So, kani siya, the abstract, di pa ta magbuhat ani, after na sa tanan. So, an abstract is a mini version of the paper. The American National Standards Institute says, a well-prepared abstract enables readers to identify the basic content of the document quickly and accurately, to determine its relevance to their interest, and thus to decide whether they need to read the document in its entirety. So, pag nindot kayo yung abstract, there is a sure jud nga basahon tong entire paper nimo. So, abstract pa lang dan, dapat nindot na jud siya pagkahimo. Therefore, it is extremely important that the abstracts be written clearly. The abstract should be definitive rather than descriptive. It should give facts rather than say the paper is about something. Dapat factual, evidence-based ang imuhang statements dito. Okay. So, let us identify the problem and gap. So, what is the problem? Cotton polyester fabric is manufactured to alleviate increase in cotton prices. Monay problem. And ang gap niya, however, polyester production faces issues such as denaturation of materials energy. What is the objective? Usage and increase in carbon footprints. So, what is the objective? The purpose of the study was to find indigenous fibers which can become a new standalone fiber for fabric production or as blend with cotton to produce a new all-natural fabric. Next one is the method. Giunsa nila pagbuhat. So, ultimately, leaf fibers from the tropical fibrous plant Pandanus amarillifolius or pandan belonging to Sciupine genus were extracted through reeling, and the basic properties of fibers were assessed, revealing the following: low breaking strength, good cohesion, good fineness, and a staple length of 13.11 inches. Economic value was also determined by calculating its fiber yield, which was found to be 7.1%, the highest among the current commercially used fibers. An 80 to 20 cotton pandan Philippine tropical fabric was produced at Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Textile Research Institute, and assessed on weight, breaking strength, piling resistant, and dimensional change, and color, fastness to rubbing, perspiration, and laundering. Okay, motoy method. Man, dili lang ka basta-basta mo claim nga nindot kayo ni imuhang product, nindot kayo ni siya nga fabric. Kinahanglan jud na siya i-test. Asa man nato i-test? Diri sa kayahang focus kay ang kuan man fabric, so ni top that sa Department of Science and Technology sa Textile Research Institute. Dito nila gipatest ang ilahang textile kung kuan ba siya. Gi-assessed by weight, breaking, strength, peeling resistance, and dimensional change, and color, fastness to rubbing, perspiration, and laundering. So, gipa-test dito, gipa-verify kung quality dyan ni siya nga material. So, what is the results? Principal results of each analysis were compared with the Philippine National Standard for PTFs. The newly produced fabric of cotton pandan fabric showed the following properties: fabric weight ideal for blouses and pants, good breaking strength, exhibits shrinkage, has low piling resistant, good color fastness, and non-staining ability. What is the main conclusion? The main conclusion is that the result proved that the ultimate fiber from Pandanus amarylifolius cannot be standalone fiber for fabric production, but it is a good and economically sound blend to cotton for the production of a new Philippine tropical fabric. So that is the example of an abstract. Next, proceed with a good introduction is relatively short. It tells why the reader should find the paper interesting, explains why the author carried out the research, and gives the background of the reader needs to understand and judge the paper. Specifically, the introduction must define the nature and extent of the problem studied. It relates the research to previous work, usually by a brief review of the literature clearly relevant to the problem. It must explain the objectives of investigation and any specialized terms or abbreviations to be used in what follows. Remember that the introduction leads logically and clearly states the hypothesis or principal theme of the paper. So now, we will read the example of a full introduction and identify the parts of the introduction. The study is entitled Eco Fabric for Blended Fragrance Screw Pine, Leaf Fibers and Cotton. These are the proponents. So what is the background of the study? Today, natural cotton is blended with synthetic polyester to mitigate the high cost of cotton. However, polyester manufacturing entails intensive energy and produces excessive carbon dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions. That is according to Polyester Production Pollution 2012. So there is a need for us to improve or to make alternative fiber because the production of the cotton can harm the environment. It leads to climate change. It leads to the excessive production of carbon dioxide, gases, greenhouse gases. So, gi-establish na nimo sa background of study nga there is a need of doing this research. Okay? So, that is the background. Next is the problem. So, what is the problem of our research? In the Philippines, the trust in developing Philippine tropical fabrics or PTFs from all natural blend of cotton and various fibers from plant like abaca, pineapple, banana, jute, and water hyacinths. However, supplies and fiber yields of these plants are limited and other supply of fibers must be explored. So, kay kulang man, so mo nang punan na to, mangita tag new ways para ma-improve ang yield sa fiber. So, what will be the result kung ma-improve ang yield sa fiber plants? Kung magkadaghan ang ato ang fibers, available fibers. So, magkadaghan ang available fibers, mas barato. Eh, di ba? Law of supply and demand. So, kung taas ang supply, magkababa ang presyo sa fiber. So, unsa may result? Kung magkababa ang presyo sa fiber, so mas mo barato na lang no atong mga sanina, di na ta sigig pangukay kay ukay raman barato ang sanina. So makapalit na jud tag brand new nga sanina kay because of your innovation, because of the research on fibers para mo taas ang iyahang yield and production, mubaba na pud ang presyo sa mga fibers and mubaba na pud ang presyo sa mga gigamitan ato nga fibers. Example, mga sanina. Okay? So, there is a problem and there is an innovation to address the problem. Okay? So, mato siya, no? Objectives na ta. So, the Pandanus amarylifolius, known as fragrance cupine in English or pandan in local, is a fibrous tropical fiber plant that is found abundant in the country. This study, what is the objective of the study? This study assesses the leaf fibers from fragrance cupine as potential stand-alone fiber for fabric production or as a blend with cotton for the production of the new Philippine tropical fabrics. Limitations. Specifically, this study evaluates fiber yield of the plant and the fiber properties, breaking strength, cohesion, fineness, and mean length of its leaf fibers. An 80 to 20 cotton fragrance cupine PTF was also produced and characterized in terms of fabric weight, breaking strength, dimensional change, peeling resistance, color fastness, and staining grade. Significance. This study boosts production of environment-friendly fabrics or eco fabrics with like PTFs by providing additional fiber supplies and eventually making these fabrics more affordable in the market. So that is the significance of this research paper. Materials and methods. Muna siya ang materials and methods. Results, example, discussion, conclusion, recommendation. The title. In a nutshell, this is the summary. Okay, so dito rata kutob sa introduction. Finalize sa nato inyong research problem, inyong research gap, inyong innovation, i-patent search sa nato para ma-identify nato kung wala by prior art ang inyong ihimuon nga solution. So, in the next topic, dira na ta mag-discuss sa ato ang methodology. Okay? So, this is the summary of the main sections of the scientific paper. Everybody read. Research is formalized curiosity. It is poking and prying with a purpose. Diba? Bilar with a purpose. I would like you to be reminded that you are making this research paper not only to get grade in your subject, not only to win certain competitions, but the main goal of this research is for you to innovate and give something to your community to help our country by doing such investigation or experiment. So let us establish necessity. We will find necessity of doing this research. Okay? So daghang salamat. So that ends our discussion for today. Thank you very much for listening.